Hi guys, it's Martin from Martin's Holiday Village here again for another episode of our fabulous series coming to your sofa. And I'm delighted to say we've got our very own Jane McDonald who's taking over the airwaves with me at the moment. Dawn is back for another show. Dawn's from Uniworld. Hiya Dawn, how are you?
Hi, Martin. Thanks for having me back. We must be doing
Again.
something right if you're having me back again.
It is. It's great. Always good to have you back. So, um, I'm liking the sign behind you.
Oh, yeah, I thought I'd make a little effort, with a little Uniworld sign. Just showing all the different ships, all the images of the ships there.
Is that because you've got so
Just for
much?
you.
Is it a mess behind? Is that why you put it up really?
Ouch. No. Yes,
Yeah.
actually.
All these things coming from home. Dawn's here. You've been with us. This is your third episode, isn't it?
It
Um,
is, yeah.
we're gonna have to start paying you, I think.
Oh, no, do it for love.
Oh, you do it for love. No, Dawn's done a evening with in India. We did with the other day. The
Yeah.
other day, it was about a week and a half ago. Now that was a good one. Can't wait to get out now. Have you sorted my place yet?
Oh, we're just booking your flights as we speak.
And then and then we've got an evening in India tonight, which an evening. I can't talk. I really can't talk. It's one of them days today. We've got an evening in Italy, not India, Italy, and we're going to be going to Venice, which I'm really, really excited about. But yeah, Dawn also did you buy Uniworld, so that was another exciting one. You can catch up with any of these episodes, guys. Just nip on to YouTube and you can find it. I've got all the links out there. So Dawn is going to tell you everything about an evening, and Dawn has got a special guest, which I'm really excited about. But as always, guys, while Dawn is presenting, if you have any questions at all, please pop them below or post a comment, whichever way it is, and we will answer them when we come back after the presentation. So, Dawn, I'm going to hand over to you to tell us all about Venice.
Oh, thank you, Martin. I think we've just done the last three. We've just tried to tell you a little bit more in depth. There's so much to talk about, and just trying to choose an itinerary. And then, we can talk about Uniworld, all the different things that we've got, but actually, we'll just go a little bit more in depth. And Venice is a nice one. So I'll share my screen now, if that's okay, Martin. And then I'll introduce Louisa as well, who's the cruise manager. So I'll share my screen. Is that okay?
Of course, let's go for it.
Perfect. See you on the other side.
You will. I'll be waiting.
So hopefully you can see my screen there. So as you can see, the beautiful Venice there. So we've got a brand new ship. Brand new. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Uniworld, who are Uniworld, and then I'm going to introduce Louisa, who's a cruise manager, who's actually based in Venice. That's where she lives. And she's done a recording just for you, Martin, and everyone at home tonight, just to give you a little bit more day by day what happened. Why is this different? Why is it unlike any other river cruise? So I'm just going to run through a couple of slides, and then I'm going to hand you over to Louisa. So we're going to talk about our brand new ship, which is SS La Venezia. And she's brand new. She's there in Venice, waiting, desperately waiting, like all of us, to take passengers on board and get sailing. So we'll talk about our unique river cruise that we have that sails in Venice, and also the three surrounding lagoons in northern Venice as well. So without further ado, I'll just carry on. So who are Uniworld? So Uniworld are a family-run company started by Mr. and Mrs. Tolman, and they have over 100 years expertise in hospitality. We have a family of brands, all from touring, Kentucky to Felga, some of them that you might already know. But our heritage, so Mr. and Mrs. Tolman started with a hotel in South Africa, and then that business is grown, and it's everything about what we do at Uniworld and throughout our brands, it's all about service. So the only river cruise company that has its heritage in hospitality. So we have all of these hotels throughout the world that we're all desperate to go to. So we have 5 hotels in London, one right next to Buckingham Palace, the 5-star. We've got the 12 Apostles in South Africa. We've got a brand new safari in Africa as well. So they're all throughout the world. So what we do is hospitality in the and all of our hotels, we bring that onto our ships. So it's unlike anyone else. So where do we go? So Uniworld has ships all throughout the world. The majority are in Europe, and you can see on the map there. So the main rivers of Europe, so you've got the Danube, the Main, we've got Portugal, and we're going to be talking today Italy. You can just see that on the map there as well. And we've got rivers throughout France that we sail on as well. But then we also have long haul, we actually call it exotics. So we've got cruises in India on the sacred Ganges, and we've also got sailings on the Mekong, and also in Egypt as well. But today we'll be concentrating on the Po and the lagoons in Venice. So why a river cruise? So a river cruise is unlike anything else. So I've ocean cruise, and my background's ocean cruising. But river cruise is different. It's just the most fantastic way to holiday. So you unpack once, and where else does your your hotel is you're on a river. Your river cruise ship is your floating hotel, and then it travels along with you. So you only unpack that, as we were saying, just unpack once, and then that's it. There's fewer guests on board as well. So we only average about 120 guests, which means that you can enjoy meeting people. My favourite thing about a river cruise is getting to meet people, finding out about people as well, people that you get to experience on the ship and also off the ship as well. So it's also the safest way to cruise by nature. Sailing on the rivers means you're so close to everything. So if you did need to get off, we just moor the ship to the side, and you can get off the ship. So as you can see on one of the slides there, that's the Super Ship Maria Teresa, and you can see how close you are to the views. Every day your view changes, every minute your view changes actually, whether you are in your cabin or you're in the lounge, or you're having maybe a gin and tonic on the sun deck there as well. And it's also immersive. That's the real thing about a river cruise. So it takes you to the heart of the destination. So there's no tendering. When we moor and we say and we overnight, or sometimes we might be in the daytime as well, depending on the itinerary. You get off the ship, and then you can walk straight into town, and then you start exploring, and then you come back onto the ship, whenever you're ready, take part in an excursion. It's just an amazing way to travel. And as we said at the beginning, it's your floating boutique hotel with Uniworld. So now that was just a little overview of Uniworld, who we are I just want to give you a little flavour, and then I'm going to hand you over to Louisa now. So Louisa is in Venice. She's recorded this video just for you guys, and it'll go through our itinerary in Venice day by day. So I'll just hand over to Louisa.
So good afternoon. It's my great honour and pleasure to be able to present you with Uniworld's brand new ship, the Super Ship La Venezia, and her absolutely beautiful cruise in the lagoon of Venice and the Po River. So I am Louisa, and I'm one of the cruise managers with Uniworld, and I was extraordinarily lucky about a month ago when I was able to hop on board La Venezia to see how stunning she is. And that was absolutely confirmed. She is absolutely magnificent. If I was to describe her, the adjectives I would use would be opulent, decadent, luxurious, magnificent. She really is absolutely perfectly fitted out to represent Venice's most glorious golden era. She has beautiful suites, she has beautiful staterooms, and she has the most stunning public spaces, just as you would expect on one of the Uniworld ships. The cruise that she takes is through the lagoon of Venice and then a little bit up the way of the Po River, and it's an 8-day cruise, so that's 7 nights. And the name is Venice and the Gems of Northern Italy. So as I said, she really is glorious. She's got these beautiful, opulent, golden, decadent spaces. So lots of velvet and silks, lots and lots of gold, some really beautiful fortuni, lamps, beautiful silks, really, really very, very high quality spaces. As soon as you step on board, you just feel like you're in a 10-star luxury space. It really is quite gorgeous. And of course, that's without mentioning the backdrop, which is the lagoon of Venice and its hinterland. She newly has some very beautiful smaller spaces as well now on board. So we have a smaller dining space for sort of more al fresco bistro dining. That's the image there on the right. We also have the most beautiful, very intimate, private space for wine tastings and more intimate dinners. And this is La Cantinetta, and this is where we have special fridges and cases and so forth for some of the very best wines that Northern Italy can offer. This would be the ideal space for a cooking experience, a wine tasting experience, or a slightly more intimate dinner. As I said, the rooms are incredibly decadent. The suites are absolutely divine. Each one of them is a little bit different, set out obviously using the highest quality materials, really doing honor to this beautiful tradition of elegance and luxury in Venice. There's also some really special spaces. The ships, each one of them is completely different, and La Venezia is no different in that. She has works of art sort of woven into her decoration. And so, for example, the doors are actually now works of art, and the entrance hall is basically a work of art, a unique space. Okay, so the cruise itself, as I said, is Venice to Venice. So you will start in Venice and you will return to Venice. And this is an absolutely gorgeous way to discover this part of the of Northern Italy. Because you start in Venice at the beginning of your week, you will have all of the sort of the biggest, the big hit places to see, the ones that you absolutely can't miss. And then you have a little bit more time during the week to see other sites and perhaps allow your experience to sort of start settling down and allow you to make choices about how you want to experience Venice when you come back to her at the end of the week. So it doesn't feel like a sort of hit and run. You know, you come into Venice, you see, excuse me, the big sites, and then you know that you are going to have the opportunity to come back at the end of the week. So you can see all of the other things that you didn't get to see at the beginning of the week when you come back before your departure. If you want to make your vacation a little bit longer, you can also make the trip a little bit longer by adding on a couple of days at the beginning of your vacation. So fly into Milan, 2 nights en route to meeting the ship. So a couple of days in Milan and that district, visiting Milan, and then with a really special lunchtime visit to Valpolicella wine area, just outside of Verona. And of course, we wouldn't miss the opportunity to visit Verona en route into Venice. So the cruise is absolutely fantastic. It has a really nice dynamic. So it's a sort of, it's almost like a wave, okay, which is perfectly appropriate for the water. So it has some really, really big highlights, really big cities, really important places where you get, you know, the main history and so forth, and the decorations and the art and the history, but it also has some really important experience highlights. So the culinary highlights, the wine highlights, the environmental, you know, the nature highlights. And it also has some highlights in terms of the really tiny little places that we visit. So maybe some of the smaller places that you might not have thought about visiting, but really are just like walking into a postcard. So we see San Marco, of course, in Venice. We see Bologna, the culinary capital of Italy. And we visit also Burano at the end of the week. And as I said, Burano is really like falling into a postcard. So I'm going to run through fairly quickly the week just to give you an idea of what we're up to, more or less. So the first full day that you're in Venice, we're going to make sure that you really get a full idea of how the city is. So this is a walking discovery tour. Now, one of the magnificent things about Uniworld is that we have very small groups, and this is ideal, full stop. Of course, it's fantastic to have small groups because it means that with your guide, who is really more of a storyteller, let's say, than a guide, because this is somebody that is going to accompany you and really tell the story of the place. So explain to you all of the history and the culture and all of the little nooks and crannies. So really give you a good idea of what makes these places tick. Okay, so obviously that's fantastic because having small groups means that you can have a dialogue with these people. So you can really feel as if you're being involved. You're not just following and sort of trudging through a place. It's also especially good in 2021 in what we hope are post-COVID times where small groups are really to be searched out for. You'll be walking through the city. You're going to have a real feeling of how the city is, the nature of Venice. Of course, it's a unique city. So to walk through it, to feel its spaces, to see its sort of panoramas, its horizons is really fantastic. And again, this will all be narrated by your storyteller. Of course, we make sure we go into the most important places, and these are places, for example, the Doge's Palace, St. Mark's Church. These are big, important places that you absolutely can't miss. But unless you are with the right people, and that's Uniworld and their storytellers, that you might not quite get the full experience. Of course, when you go in with Uniworld, you're going to be shown exactly what to look at, exactly how to understand. So it's not just your regular guided tour. This is a way of getting beyond the surface, a way of really seeing the most important, the most beautiful parts of the city, the little nooks and crannies, the little views, getting those wonderful memories, maybe snapping some of those fantastic photos that you're going to be able to help keep those memories with you. We'll of course walk through the city. We're going to see all of the typical things about Venice. So these are typical of Venice, but they are completely atypical for the rest of the world. So these absolutely magnificent works of art that are the gondolas. I'm going to be walking through the little alleyways and seeing the city. In the afternoon, you're going to have a little bit of downtime and some sailing. So a nice piece of cruising. And in the evening, we have, again, an absolute highlight. We have an exclusive after-hours visit to San Marco. Now, this is a bigger group. So here, all of our guests will be joining us, if they would like, of course, in the Church of San Marco. But it's just for us. So this is the typical way that Uniworld likes to do things. It's an exclusive visit. So we will all be led into the church just for us. We will all be able to sit down and watch as the lights are gradually turned on in the church to reveal these incredible 800-year-old golden mosaics. And again, we have an absolutely spectacular storyteller who is going to allow these images to unfold and tell the story of this more or less 1,000-year-old church. It really is a highlight. It's one of those moments that, okay, it's in a church, so if you have, faith, then that's one aspect. But actually, for everyone, I think it's quite a spiritual moment, because you are surrounded by this gold and this beautiful glittering background to the church, and you're on your own, just us in the church, and you're looking around, and it really just feels like this magical moment. The next day, we will be moving out of the lagoon. So we start to have some decisions to be made, so some choices to be made, whether or not you perhaps want to go stay on board, do a little bit more sailing, and have a visit to the fishing town of Chioggia, with a visit to a gondola's boatyard in the morning in Venice before sailing away from Venice, or if you want to spend the entire day in the nearby university town of Padua. So if you were going to go to Chioggia, we would be able to visit this lovely little fishing town. It's called the Small Venice, and it really is. It has a very different dynamic to Venice. So whereas Venice is the grandiose, historic city, Chioggia is its sort of cheeky little brother. So it's much more local, it's on a smaller scale. And when we visit, we'll be seeing some of its sort of hidden corners. We've actually used that day to be able to go and visit the river delta of the Po. Okay, so this is accessible from Chioggia. This is a brand new tour, and we will be able to hop onto a smaller boat, which will take us down into the entrance of the Po into the sea. So this is where the Po flows out into the sea, and we have this really interesting, unique river delta area. And this is an absolute must for nature lovers. It's the possibility to see some really beautiful backgrounds and beautiful views, but also to see some of the sort of fauna and flora and the wildlife, so the birds that are in this area. If instead you prefer to be enjoying your sort of tasting experiences, then we have a wine tasting in a rustic villa, again in this district later on in the afternoon. So a couple of choices there, really something for everyone. If instead you want to visit the city of Padua, then of course, again, it's an accompanied visit, so it will be with a storyteller, and they will be able to show this really gorgeous city. Again, it's a really nice dynamic because it's very different from Venice. Now, the thing about Uniworld is that we want you to go beyond the surface. We don't want you just to be ticking the boxes. We want you to see what makes these places tick. Okay, so not just the history, but the flavors, the tastes, the character of the people, what people like to do, what's weird and wonderful, So, for example, in Padua, you might like to taste one of these weird and wonderful mint cream coffees. Now, it sounds absolutely bizarre, little bit disgusting. I have to say it is actually quite interesting, quite tasty. And your host, of course, will make sure that you go and have the opportunity to taste this coffee in a 300-year-old bar. So again, really seeing a little bit more than the sort of regular tours. Seeing the market stalls, and then of course seeing, you know, the big hits in the city. So the Church of St. Anthony is really spectacular architecture and a wonderful place as well, of course, in terms of religion. The next day, this is the day when the ship will be down the Po, giving us the option to get a little bit closer to another region of Italy. So this is Emilia-Romagna, and we will be going either to Bologna, culinary capital of Italy, where they make the fresh egg pasta, and we go and see it and of course taste it. So it's a fantastic opportunity. Or if you want something a little bit more low-key, a slightly smaller, again, historic, beautiful cultural town of Ferrara. And Emilia-Romagna, again, it's the home of the pasta, the egg pasta in Italy. So it really is a feast for the taste buds, both in Ferrara and Bologna. You cannot move for seeing all of these wonderful delicacies. If you come with us to Bologna, then we will be watching them being made, seeing how they actually get made. It looks so easy. I can assure you it's not. These are true experts. Seeing how they make the pasta sauce and so forth and so on. Or of course in Ferrara, visiting some of the historic sites and just seeing this lovely little town. Evening, we will be back on the river in Policella, and we have some absolutely spectacular, really top-notch entertainment, and that's with Maria's live band. And it's really important to think as well about what you'll be doing whilst you're on the ship. So these gorgeous public spaces will be the sites for some really enjoyable relaxation moments. I have to say with Maria, we won't be relaxing because she will be getting everybody up and dancing. She is a force of nature, absolutely incredible woman, really amazing voice, and it makes for a really, really fun evening. On Thursday, we'll be coming back to Chioggia on our way back into Venice. Thursday is the best time to visit Chioggia, this sort of fun little market town. It's a fishing town. Thursday morning is the market day, so really, really bustling, fun. It's a really nice way to see how a regular town is in this part of Italy. So it's absolutely massively picturesque, beautiful, beautiful town, but it gives you very much the sense of a place where people live. We then sail back through the lagoon, moving up to the north, where you're going to get some of the most beautiful views, some absolutely lovely sunsets. And again, it's very nice just to sit on the ship and relax as the world goes by. We also have a little bit of information for people that want a little bit more. So if you're interested in engineering, there will be also a lecture on this new engineering project that's just been put into action in Venice. That brings us on to Friday. And Friday is the day when we will be newly docked in this tiny little town of Burano. We are the only ship that docks there, so it's absolutely a unique moment. Burano, every single house is a different colour. As I said, it really feels like you've fallen into a postcard. And we get to visit the little fishing town. We get to wander through its more or less empty streets, because by the time we get there in the evening, it is absolutely just ours. On Friday, we can discover the city when it's a little bit more busy, but on Thursday evening, when we first arrive, it really feels like it's just for us. It's a very special moment. On Friday, we're going to be also making sure we explore more than just Burano. So we'll be seeing the nearby little village of Mazzorbo that has some really interesting little grapevines there, produces a very interesting wine. And we will also be having yet another exclusive visit just for us to the cathedral, the one-time cathedral on the island of Torcello. We again will have a storyteller to narrate this whole magnificent history. The island is more or less abandoned now, has a really interesting history, and we can see some of the remnants of that history when we visit the cathedral. It's a lovely place to visit. Again, it has this really nice dynamic because we've seen the busy places, we've seen the market towns, and then we also see this tiny little abandoned island up in the north of the lagoon. We come back into Venice later on Friday, and so that leaves us the whole of Saturday to enjoy Venice, downtown Venice, as we prefer. So we have loads and loads of opportunities to choose. People can choose an art visit. They could choose a market visit, where of course we get to taste some of the lovely local delicacies. They could choose just to have some free time. We can show them where to get a gondola, to have a gondola ride. We can show them where to taste something really interesting, where we can show them where they would, you know, maybe get some great shopping done in the city. So Saturday is a really nice time to just finish off all of the things that people want to do, that they've maybe been sort of drawing through their minds since the beginning of the week and thinking, oh, that really interests me. That's how I'd like to dedicate my time at the end of the week. In the afternoon, what we usually do is we also make sure that we can see one of the other aspects of the culture of Venice, and this is the glass making trade. So glass has been made in Venice for 1,000 years on the island of Murano, and so the Murano glass is really part and parcel of the culture of Venice. And of course, we couldn't possibly come to Venice without seeing how they make the glass and seeing a little bit of this craftsmanship. So we have a demonstration where people can see, just us, exclusively for us, where they can see how this is made. And of course, then the opportunity to see some of the types of works of art that are made using the Murano glass techniques. Okay. That leads us to the end of our cruise and disembarkation on Sunday. One thing that I'd also like to point out is that, of course, Uniworld makes sure that you have the most magnificent vacation, basically tailor-made for you. So the whole time that you're with us, we will be helping you get the most of that out of that vacation. So making sure that if you know you're interested, I don't know, in fishing in the lagoon, we can point out something to you that's going to be of interest. You're interested in the theatre, you're interested in a particular type of local wine, or maybe you're interested in a particular historical period. The whole time that you're with us, we're going to be helping to make sure that your cruise is absolutely what you want it to be. So maybe as you leave us, you might be staying on a couple of days more in Venice. We can help you have an idea of how to spend those extra days. So this is absolutely the best way to see Venice. You really go so much further into the city. You understand the city and its history, and you appreciate it so much more. And you do it in a such a much more relaxed way than the sort of hit and run, you know, drop in and dash off again way that so many other people do. And it really is an absolutely beautiful way to visit the city. And I very much hope to be able to welcome you on board and share this magnificent city and area with you. In the meantime, thanks. Have a lovely rest of your day. Ciao, ciao.
Oh, thanks, Louisa. Every time I listen to Louisa, it just makes me want to get onto the ship. I can't wait until we sail and we step on board and in Venice as well. So just a couple more slides from me, and then I know we're going to have a question and answer session, and I know Martin's already had quite a few questions already in about this itinerary. So just why Uniworld? We do pride ourselves on having the highest standards on board and off board the ship as well. Our ships are one of a kind, so we don't have the same ships across our fleet, and we've got 21 in total. So the ships are designed for the region that they sail in, so that what makes them all different. And this one is specifically just for Venice, and as Louisa was saying, the Po and the lagoon as well. So outstanding service. So the first thing you'll see when you get up on board the ship is a welcoming smell. This is going to be your floating hotel for the next 7 days, and it'll be like coming home. The staff are absolutely amazing, and the mantra for Uniworld is no request too big or detail too small, and that definitely is the case on board. So culinary excellence, everything that you could possibly want is on board. So everything is sourced locally, and then everything is fresh as well on board. So lots of the dishes are regional dishes. But if you did want something that was maybe a salad or chicken, or you have a special dietary requirement, you just need to let us know in advance. Just let Martin know. We can let we'll let the ships know in advance, and we can cater for you, because it's all individual. Everything's included when you're on board. There's nothing else to think about. So your flights are included, and you transfer to the ship. And we said about the food, gratuities, Wi-Fi, everything that you could possibly want. And as Louisa was talking through as well, the excursions. So the excursions are included, which makes it tailor-made on the water. So if Martin and I were going on this cruise together, we might choose to do different things, but come back on for lunch or in the evening. It really is individual, or you could do it together. The thing is, the choice is yours with Uniworld. Guest well-being, I'm going to talk about a little bit more of that in a second, because we do get questions about it, and also some offers at the end as well. So just going on to that, the subject about well-being, and that's our priority on board. So all river cruise lines have fantastic protocols in place, and Uniworld follow the advice from CLIA, WHO, and the WTTC as well. All of our hotel managers and crew have been trained by external consultants in professional health, enhanced hygiene, and physical distance procedure as well. All guests and crew are asked to complete a well-being declaration upon arrival. And then everyone also gets temperature checks as well, which is touchless, just to make sure that, you know, with temperatures in the whole new world that we have at the minute. But even with all of these steps that we've got in place, we know things that can change as well. So we have got a flexible booking policy as well, just to give you peace of mind as well, that goes across all of our brands. So Louisa talked about the 8 days, Gems of Venice and Gems of Italy, which is fantastic, but something new that just didn't want to miss the opportunity, really. Just why I'm here with Martin as well. We've got something new and exciting. So it's our newest partner for 2021 is Golden Eagle Luxury Trains, where we privately chartered this train. It's the only ensuite train in Europe, and it's a perfect match for our Italian river cruise. So it's a 4-day traveling through Switzerland, Austria, Liechtenstein, and Slovenia, and there's just so many highlights. So, for example, the ones that I particularly like are the glittering lakes of Lake Zurich or Lake Blad. The scenic train goes through the Beda Pass, and we have a private concert and Postjana in Slovenia, all whilst exploring medieval towns and cities as well. This is just a brilliant and so exciting, immersive extension to your fantastic river cruise. So just a little bit more about the Golden Eagle Express. So, as we've said, it's a 5-star train, and again, in the same mantra as Uniworld, no request is too big or detail too small. Everything's then included. As we said, it's en suite. There's a personal cabin attendant, local food, including afternoon tea. All of your drinks are included, alcoholic or non-alcoholic. And then you're free to immerse yourself in the excursion program. So it's just a fantastic way of extending your river cruise as well. If you want more details, Martin will have this as well, and I'm happy to have chats as well to give you more details. So just coming to the last slide, really. So Venice and the Gems of Northern Italy. As we said, it's an 8-day ultra luxury all-inclusive river cruise on the brand new beautiful ship La Venezia. We have Martin has an exclusive leading in at 1899, and we have a number of dates where we have nil single supplements as well. I know we're going to have some questions and answers now. I could probably answer some of those, anything that you've got with regard to the river cruise in more detail. So I'm looking forward to answering all your questions. Martin, back to you.
Wow, Dawn, you brought us India last week. You bring us Venice this week. Oh, I'm packed. I'm ready to go. When are we going?
I know, it's just the most amazing itinerary because it's unlike anything else that we do. When we call it the Gems of Italy, and and Venice, it's amazing because now you can't get the big ships into Venice, can you?
No, you're right. They've all moved out, haven't they? Because of like the water levels and their things, and all the locals didn't want them in there, which is good because it's it's a historical site. It's a beautiful city. I remember being in Venice, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And one thing that I saw there was when Louisa mentioned about Murano, which seeing glass blowing is amazing. We actually got the chance to try and blow glass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, how they do it, Dawn, I don't know. I'll tell you what, you've got to have a lot of puff in there, I'll tell you, because we were blowing and blowing, and it just wasn't going anywhere. It just wasn't. It was just sort of bubbling down.
Hard, isn't it? It's hard. We have the Murano glass through the ship because obviously she's a brand new ship. She's just not sailed yet, which is heartbreaking. And then the fabrics of the House of Fortuny, which is a famous in Venice. So it stays to its roots, and it's a bit like not a bit like all Uniworld ships. They are designed for the rivers that they sail, and we don't swap them around. So each ship is unique, and this one she's a beauty.
She is.
If I'm honest, lots of people say to me, why would I go to Venice? And I think if you were going to do it on a river cruise, you'd want to go to St. Mark's Basilica, and there's the queues, and you'd go for a nice coffee. But that excursion, which is in the evening, it's private just for us, is just one of those it makes a memory. There's certain things in your life that make a memory, isn't there?
Yeah,
and that's the one for me, the one that gives you goose pimples, and over a glass of wine you'll go, oh, when you see Venice on the TV and you see an advert, you go, can you remember that time we did that? It's sort of those memories that money can't buy. And there's lots of those things throughout the cruise, and it's got something for everyone. So we go to Burano, and if you like architecture, we also go to cathedrals. We go pasta making. I didn't realize pasta. Sometimes I mix my pastas, Martin. If I've got a bit of tagliatelle and a bit of penne, I might mix them. I know. That's a no-go. Now I've been to Venice and I've been on this river cruise. Then I know, certain pastas for certain sauces. You learn all about those things, and the coffee that we were talking about, that Louisa was talking about, the mint cream coffee, all of those, and you don't realise all the lagoons, the northern lagoons, the 3 lagoons that we go to. You start off in Venice and it's, you feel like it's all hustly and bustly as you go off, but you can get off and on the ship as you want to. And then you end up in Venice at the end. So there's lots of time. It's a lovely, lovely itinerary. It's not a long flight either.
Yeah. And there's not many operators that do the PO, is there? Is it only yourselves that are doing the PO at the moment?
Yes, that's right. I think there might be one other that does it, not necessarily in the UK, but yeah, it's exclusive to us, and especially all of these add-ons. So if we were going together, which we probably was, seeing as you've booked my holiday.
Oh, right.
We could tailor make this. Absolutely, yeah. You might have to come on my cruise.
Well, funny. Let's see if you've got the same excursions that I choose. This will be interesting.
I would go and do the pasta making. Yeah, Would you go to St. Mark's Basilica?
Well, you couldn't miss that, could you? An evening exclusive. Can you imagine St. Mark's all lit up? If it was
and it's in the evening, and there's a light coming through as well. It's when you get a little. It made me a little bit choked, if I'm honest, because I just went and thought, what the light was shining through. It was just amazing, and all the candles. It was lovely.
Oh.
I'd go to Doge. I'd go back to Doge's Palace.
Yeah.
So you do that in the morning and then in the evening as well. Would you do a bike ride? Would we get a bike and go and cycle around?
Do you think you could trust me on a bike, Dawn? You know the stories we go back with by bike ride, which we won't go into now. But yeah, it was quite a scary moment.
There's enough gondolas to if you did fall off, then you could just hop on a gondola, can't you? Really, and get you. Yeah, you'd be absolutely fine. I think we would choose a few of the same things. I think most definitely.
Mum and Dad, the wine tasting in the villa. Not that I'm an alcoholic, but I do like my wine, and everyone says Pinot Grigio, but I think that'd be amazing, don't you? Just tasting the wines and hearing all about where they come from, and
yeah, and I always find that interesting. Unless you're a wine buff, and I'm not, I do like a nice glass of red. Mm-hmm. But I've always find it interesting when someone talks to me about it and they say, oh, you can taste all these different flavours. And then when you pair it with the food as well, as we do, then actually you go, oh, yes. And then I would then take a bottle of that and I would take it back onto the ship, because you can do that.
Oh, can you?
It's all inclusive anyway, and we have regional wines that are on board. But actually, I wouldn't, because I've done this before, so I don't say probably. This is the truth. So from the day, I'd buy a nice bottle of wine that I really enjoyed, and then I would take it back to my room and I would sit with the views, and I would, maybe just have a glass, at the end of the day, and just reflect on, what had happened. I sound like I'm getting all emotional, but just take in what days that you've had, and because river cruising can be as busy or as relaxed as you want to, because there's so much going on. Sometimes I think it's nice to just take a little step back and just have a little look back on the day that's gone, and plan, looking forward to the next day as well.
That's it, you've got to plan your next day and things. Well, just talking about excursions that we've been just then, somebody, I've had a few questions sent in prior, so I'm going to put you on the spot now, Dawn. So excursions, okay. Now you have answered already one of them, which was can you choose different ones, which you can. You could go off and do one and I could go do another, which is great. Yeah. But do you have to book them before you go, or can you book them on the ship? Is there enough space for everybody?
Yeah, you just book them on the ship, because the great thing about a river cruise is you get on board and it's your floating hotel for the next week, and you're a part of the Uniworld family. And like anything, your first night you may have a table for two, and then the tables get a little bit bigger, and no social distancing and things will be a little bit different. But you might end up meeting some friends over a glass of champagne or a cocktail. You might want to do the excursion together. So yes, so the short answer is, when you're on board, then you book your excursions when you're on board.
Fantastic.
So it's flexible. But you might change your mind, or you might, think, oh, I didn't fancy that, but actually now I've spoken to my cruise director, who's there, to help. Yeah, to Louisa, who was actually based, so that she's recorded that in Venice. That's where she lives, in Venice.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Then I think I fancy that excursion, and you can. You could also stay on the ship as well.
Yeah. It's just do what you want, isn't it?
That's
It's your cruise. It's your time away to relax or be as active as you want.
That's the thing. And with, we've got that the lead in of 1899, but remember that includes everything. So if you added in everything, so you've got your flights, you've got all those excursions that you can choose, and it's tailor-made, and you've got your transfers to the ship, and you've got your gratuities, and you've got your Wi-Fi. Actually, it's really good value.
It's amazing value, and
it's sometimes you just have to break it down a little bit, really, with River Cruise.
Well, if you book an excursion on an ocean cruise, it's 60, 70 pound a head anyway. So you imagine how many cruises you can do how many excursions on this cruise you can do, plus your drinks package, which are 50, 60 pounds a day as well. Soon mounts up, and you would take that out of the equation. It's really, really good value. Now, I know the one we've got, the exclusive, our exclusive prices, 2021 is from 1899. But I believe we've also got 2022, and 2022 is not bad either at 219.
No, and this is selling well. So it's because it's a brand new ship. So she's a super ship. As I said earlier, she's not sailed at all yet. But yeah, we've got just over 2,000 for 2022. And if you've sailed with us before as well, you get a loyalty discount at the same time that they'll come through you guys. We've got a great loyalty scheme, and we've got a flexible booking policy as well, which is really good. So it just gives people the peace of mind, really. So we've been around a long time. We've got, we're part of there's thousands of people that work for the company, not just Uniworld, Trafalgar, Insight Vacation. So there's some of the questions that I get asked, who are Uniworld, who are they part of? But yeah, just river cruising is just an amazing way to travel. Just think, you unpack once, your favourite hotel in Venice, you unpack that once, and then your favourite hotel will just continue with you for the whole week.
It will.
That's my kind of holiday, to be fair.
And what a beautiful, luxurious ship that the Venezia is, and it's just, you just look and go, OMG, wow. And at these prices, they are great. So a couple more questions, Dawn, while I've got you. So one of them is dress code. Is it dress up for dinner every evening, full ball gown and dinner?
No, it's not. It's casual. So yeah, it's relaxed on board as well.
Okay.
So yeah, so if you wanted to dress up, then you can, but we know it's just say smart casual, really. Just as you were going for dinner. If you were going off the ship and you were going for dinner, then just exactly like that, very relaxed.
So it's like going to a smart restaurant, a nice pair of chinos and shirts for a gent.
That's it. Yeah, nice, you don't have to wear a tie and things like that. Absolutely not. Just be relaxed. It is your holiday, so we want you to feel comfortable at the same time.
Amazing. And one last one. I don't know whether Louisa did cover it or not, but how many passengers are on the ship?
130. Is
that it?
That's it. So the ship has been designed in a different way to traditional river cruise ships. So we have more space on board. So at the minute, there's lots of changes that are happening, on river cruise ships, or we call it new protocols. So with Uniworld, we have we're very lucky that we've got more space than most people, because lots of river cruise ships are the same size because of the locks, and especially if you were on the Danube or you were on the Rhine, the locks and the bridges. So we've taken out suites and staterooms, and we've made more dining venues, and we've got more open spaces. So that's brilliant. So because on average there's about 190 guests usually on a river cruise ship.
Yeah.
On this one we have 130, and everything is small groups on your tours as well. So it's not everyone getting off and all going to the same place. We will be, but we're in small groups.
That's good.
So it's with regard to protocols, and that's always been the case. That's not something we've had to introduce. It's just the Uniworld way, really. So you're not after struggling to hear your storytellers, as Louisa said, which is your tour guide. It's all very close, socially distanced.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not one guide for everyone or one guide for 70 people by any means.
Yeah, I think when I did a river cruise before, I think there was about 8 or 10 of us on the coach.
Yeah.
So if we have to social distance if we're going, then that's very easy to do. You can have a seat each, and 3 in between you on the coach.
Most definitely.
Coaches, so that safety element is there. Oh, Dawn, it's been fabulous. I mean,
good.
You keep adding to my bucket list. All our suppliers coming on, but yeah, Stan is going to be like, yeah, we're going on that. And I'll be like, we will do that one. So, but no, fantastic. So I think we'll have you back for something else, I'm sure, in the very, very not too distant future. I'm sure you've got lots coming up. I know we've had conversations and I'm like, OMG, you've got to tell us about that one. So I'm sure you'll be back at some point very soon. Guys, thank you for joining in this evening. It has been a pleasure having Dawn with us. Dawn's a very good friend of mine. We go a long way back. And when she comes on, we it's just like friends. So thank you for joining us, guys. As always, you can get me on Facebook at Martin's Holiday Village. Drop me a message on there. You can call me on 0161 735 0112. Alternatively, my email is out there as well. If you are watching back, for people that are on catch up on YouTube or on my page, some of the offers may not be available, but we will always look after you and get you the best deals that are available from the lovely Dawn and the reservation staff at Uniworld. And thank you for joining us, guys. We will be back next Tuesday. I shouldn't really say that because people will be watching back and it could be 2 weeks on, couldn't it? We will be back with more coming to your sofa. Lots more partners who are joining us. They all want to come and chat to you. So keep an eye out for our next episodes, and we will catch up with you all very soon. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you soon. Bye for now. Bye.
Take care. Bye.